Good morning everyone. My name is Lala Ignatius. Today I am going to discuss about this 2024 paper 2 area, that governance, social justice along with international relations. Okay. So, going to hand the first question in governance. I think as usual, like the previous pattern, the same way UPSC also asks the segmentation, like 4 questions from governance, 4 questions from social justice and remaining 4 questions from international relations. This is the way for the past few years they have done the segmentation. In this year 2024 also they have done it in the same manner. Okay. But one thing before going to start the question, compare with the previous years generally the way how the syllabus a teacher usually discuss inside the class, and based on the syllabus they will ask a direct question, but this year also they did the same thing, but in a peculiar manner. You can able to see by the way UPSC asks the question. For example, started from the first one. This topic is something regarding the concept regarding good governance and connected with an area of ethics. For example, even previous years also UPSC asked these kind of questions. Constitutional morality was asked by UPSC first time in ethics part. Then after 2 years again they asked in polity segment. So, like this manner, good governance is an idea, e-governance is an initiative. Generally we will study inside governance classes and social justice. And now I am connecting the process of integrity and commitment of civil services aligned with the doctrine of democratic governance. So, first when you are going to write these kind of things, it is not directly ethics. It is a kind of idea from good governance that also we got it from public administration. So, you have to define the first part, that what is the doctrine of democratic governance. So, when we are going to make idea regarding democratic governance, it is not like the way how generally we will discuss about governance in terms of a simple formula. Suppose if you want to write a question regarding good governance, we always write the first point should be the formula in order to attract the examiner well, like the way how people are giving diagrams and flow chart. So, it is better you have to give the formulas in this coming years. So, like this manner, transparency plus accountability plus social responsiveness. This is the way we are going to make a formula for these type of questions when things regarding good governance as per the syllabus of UPSC. Also e-governance as per the syllabus of UPSC. But that is a question, this is a question UPSC asked in terms of democratic governance, and that is also the doctrine of democratic governance. So, if I want to define what is democratic governance, I have to go back to this area. For example, the way how the modernity came into existence, this is something into the sociological perspective as well as public administration perspective, combined both. On the basis of that, UPSC asks this question like the integrity aspect of civil services on one side and the democratic governance on another side. This is not good governance, this is talking about democratic governance. So, you have to frame the formula first, in what way we are going to write. Example, you can see this first. When I want to discuss about the democratic governance, it is always on the basis of the way how the existence of civil services. So, the developmental historicism is an idea came into exist into the process of evolution of society. So, in this developmental historicism, when the process is moving on, the concept of civil services also simultaneously emerged. So, when I am going to discuss about the civil services, in two ways I can able to discuss, one in terms of modern government, another one in terms of governance. When I am talking about the civil services in terms of modern government, then I have to connect it with the bureaucracy, and when I am discussing about the modern governance or world governance, that should be on the basis of market and network. This is the key formula a student need to write, that the way how the civil services in terms of good governance or governance, we can able to say the existence of market aligned with an idea of network. So, based on that, once you have done this formula, everything is done. You completely divide the question into two aspects. So, this is the way we usually suggest it to our student. In what way you have to write a very good answer rather than going for simply the bulletin point base or a flow chart and diagram base that everyone is doing. So, try to make this formula, that is a better way. So, one example I have given, that how the way the good governance in terms of democratic governance, doctrine of democratic governance connected with an idea of civil services integrity and other related aspect from the perspective of the peoples in a very positive manner. So, going to connect this idea, for example, when I am talking about this particular perspective of good governance or the democratic governance, just now only we mentioned that the democratic governance is the one, the way how it is going to connect civil services in terms of the market as well as the idea like networking system inside. That networking system in terms of the information and communication technology. So, the most important perspective when a student want to write a question regarding this particular idea, then you need to say how the way the existence of those civil services during the time. So, when I am going to look into the existence of civil services, the way how the modernity is a kind of idea brought the government, and that is not an ordinary government, size wise it is going to be a very big governance, and that government only floated the idea of bureaucracy, and there is an uniform solution in terms of the tailor made process. This is the way generally the concept regarding bureaucracy or civil services as a part of democratic governance came into exist. And when I am going to go for the tailor made, the uniformity in terms of solutions, normally in administration that will be fine, but the administration itself is going to move into the modernity. So, new public administration is a kind of idea when you are going to discuss inside, and here the solution is not going to be a tailor made, because the problems are existing in a different perspective, in different situation and different time and space. So, it is very necessary that civil servant need to also diversify themselves into the nature of the integrity and unity process. So, for that only you have to do some kind of methodology in order to define that particular perspective. Okay, that is the first part. This is the way you have to define the idea of the doctrine of democratic institutions. Okay, now the second important thing, the question is talking about the second important thing, the positive public perception regarding the nature of civil services and its integrity. So, when you are going to look into the positive perspective and its most important significance, then only you can able to write. So, the first and foremost important thing in terms of the significance of the positive public perception, you have to develop an idea of confidence building measure. This is a measurement, CBM they will say, the capacity building and confidence building measures. And in terms of civil services point of view, connected with an idea of integrity. So, the most important thing in order to maintain the principles of integrity and in terms of the absolute positive nature. So, what I need to do, how the way the confidence building measure is going to happen? By the way how the government is initiating so many new schemes and programs. Example, in the recent past around 2023, the Delhi government successfully introduced that Mahala clinics as an example we can able to see. So, based on its existence and its implementation, it will also create some kind of good image about the government as well as governance, and the way how the civil servant who is involving into those kind of project in order to connect with the people and all is creating automatically a positive image from the people's point of view. And second important thing is that how effectively they are implementing that policy. This is the most important thing, the positive image of civil services inside the democratic governance is the way how they are implementing those kind of ideology is a very necessary point. The best example in India with the past exercise and all, we can able to say the MGNREGA, the direct benefit transfer scheme is the simple example we can able to say how effectively the policy implementations are happening inside, or we can able to say the soil health card is another example in order to induce the agricultural sector and all is another best example we can able to see. Okay. And the third important thing is that as a part of this democratic decentralization process, the strengthening the mechanism of democratic values. So, when you want to strengthening the mechanism of democratic values, few things are there. So, how I can able to strengthen the democratic values? The most important thing is that the way how the citizens are going to participate in a democratic process. So, how enthusiastically the citizens are going to participate in a democratic practices is a very necessary thing that only will strengthen the democratic values, because when I am talking about democracy, the core principles inside democracy is participation. So, that normally in classes we usually discuss participation is the most important component inside democracy and in good governance practices. So, based on that the democratic values also strengthen. And next important thing, the corruption deterrence is another important idea, like the way how the nuclear deterrents are happening in modern world. So, when I am going to look into the concept of the corruption deterrence, the very necessary thing is that everyone knows the main purpose of good governance is something in order to eradicate the ideas regarding corruption and bring the transparency mechanism aligned with accountability principle along with the social responsibility. So, transparency mechanism aligned with the accountability process along with the social responsiveness. But the necessary point when I am talking about social responsiveness, the very way the government want to introduce certain things in the name of openness, that will be come under the category of e-governance. E-governance into the nature of information and communication technology definitely is going to play a very vital role to provide the service delivery mechanism to the people in a transparent manner. And another most important thing, providing service delivery at your doorstep. This is the second most important thing. These are all interconnected ideology. Based on that, the corruption deterrence is another most important significant feature in order to strengthen the public system. And the next one is the effective policy implementation is a kind of idea. Already we discussed those kind of things. And apart from this, the civil services is the most important thing. The way how Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel very specifically mentioned about the civil services into the nature of the empathy is a kind of principle along with the impartiality as well as action against corruption. These are the three important principles. A E I² principle used by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel at the very beginning of the formation of Indian civil services. Empathy civil services need to have, and impartiality they need to have, and the way how they are going to act against corruption. So, in this manner we can able to see the principles of existence of neutrality in civil services and honesty and integrity in civil services. So, in this nature we can able to say the impartial nature of civil services in their working culture is another most important thing. On the basis of that, you can able to identify how the way the question, the doctrine of democratic governance is a kind of idea they discuss into the nature of the public perspective, that how the way it is going to be absolutely positive concept and all. Okay, this is the first one, and within this you can able to complete your word limit and page limit. Okay. After this, the second question in governance, discuss the aim and objectives of recently passed and enforced the Public Examination Prevention and Unfair Means Act 2024. This is the first part. And second thing is that how the way it is going to interconnected with the universities and state educational board. So, everyone knows the way how the various scams in terms of educational system came into exist in the recent past. On the basis of the continuous existence of the scam after scam inside the educational system, the government of India decided to move certain important ideas in order to control those kind of mechanism, because it is the idea is completely connected with the future of Indian, not only the civil services and public services, aligned with the educational system. And the corruption in the educational system is completely going to root out the Indianization or Indianness inside India. So, to overcome those kind of idea, the government of India created this Prevention of Unfair Means Act 2024. So, when I am going to see, the question was very direct. If you know, you can able to write answer. The aim and objective of this particular act. So, when I am going to discuss about the aim and objective of the particular act, the main purpose is that it is activity like cheating, impersonation and unauthorized access to the examination halls and materials and all. These are all the normal things we can able to say. So, based on these kind of ideas that this is a common nature happening in Indian educational system long back into the nature of the cheating or the way how utilizing the technologies and all to manipulation and malpractices and all. So, main target is that not only the leakages of question paper and all within the educational premises, how the way the government can able to have control towards the activity against the corrupted practices and all. And second important thing is that with the help of this particular act, the act applies to all public examination conducted by, you should be very careful, educational boards, universities also coming into this and other recognized bodies across the country. So, throughout the country, any type of educational board, universities and any type of state or related or the regional organization, any recognized organization, those who are going to conduct some kind of competitive examination and other related ideas will automatically come under the category of this particular act. And other than this act also giving some more provisions. For example, we can able to say some kind of model draft resolution they gave to every state government. So, with the help of this model draft resolution, what the government really want to do, that they simply want to assist every state government and universities and all in what way you are going to prevent the criminal activities inside the educational system. That is another most important thing on the basis of in terms of state level public examination. That is the necessary condition here. And other than that, this act also aims to serve as a model for states to adopt the discretion given on the state government. The most important, this model resolution is not only giving some kind of instruction to the state government, along with that instruction, it is also giving the discretionary nature of the state in order to regulate those kind of ideas, since the 42nd constitutional amendment very specifically made those kind of arrangement. On the basis of that, now education become into the nature of concurrent. So, automatically you should be very careful while handling those kind of process, that both the center and state can, but when controversy erupted, the central law will prevail in any kind of concurrent list, but the central government is giving freedom and discretionary authority to the states regarding those kind of law. So, this is a central law will try to cover the entire country. Other than that, to empower those educational system in terms of anti-corruption activities, and state government also, universities also can able to make rules and regulations. That is another important thing. And apart from this, but the moment I am saying that there is a negativity, if I am giving freedom, the discretionary nature to state. So, some people are feeling that this automatically going to weaken the effective mechanism through this law the central government want to bring in educational system. So, there is an argument and counter argument immediately. Freedom will be given to state, and that will also lead to the lack of implementation and miscreancy inside the educational system. Then when I am moving further, there is another most important thing. This particular act in that section 2K is very clearly saying that a public examination, in what way we have to define the public examination. So, here the case is that the public examination authority who is going to conduct those kind of things. So, the public examination is need to be defined first, and who is going to conduct those examination in the name of public service authorities. So, those things clearly defined, and after this the very necessary point, as per the definition of this particular act, the bodies like UPSC, SSC and railways, other than the banking system and national testing agency, this agency only is conducting examination for NEET examination, common university entrance test and other various things regarding the education system. All the things will come under this public authority, those who are going to conduct the examination well at the competitive level. Okay. Then other than that, what special we can able to see inside? Apart from this designated public examination authority, the most important thing, the ministries and department can also able to conduct some kind of a group B, C, D examination at the secretariat level. So, those things will also come under the category of this public authority. And other than that, the final part in this question, that in future the central government can able to add any services inside. It is not only the UPSC or not only the SSC. Anything the central government can able to bring inside this particular idea is also coming into the nature in the last part. So, this is the way as per the question your answer should be. Okay. So, the next question, question number 16. The question number 16 is clearly saying that the concept regarding citizen charter, and this question is very particular. For example, citizen charter is an idea is existing. The citizen charter has been a landmark initiative in ensuring the citizen centric administration, but it is yet to reach its full potential. Identify the factors hindering the realization of its premise and suggest the measure to overcome them. So, here I do not want to write stories, because since nowadays it is not only the word limit, but page limit is also particularly insisted by UPSC, and questions also varying in terms of 10 mark as well as 15 mark. So, directly this is the pattern only I am suggesting to my student either in optional as well as GS paper. So, the concept is that the citizen charter, since 1997 onwards India is practicing citizen charter on the basis of the chief secretaries and chief ministers conference of state and union territories happen in 97. And that is a model you in your class also you studied already, that we borrowed it from United Kingdom on the basis of John Major's initiatives, and Tony Blair, who later converted into the nature of citizen charter into service first, and after that India tried to follow those ideology, and it is far better, and it is a precursor we can able to say even before the Right to Information Act 2005, but in 1997 itself India adopted the principality of the citizen charter. Now, the case is that since 1997 we are having, but people do not know much knowledge about citizen charter. This is the major problem or defect I can able to say. RTA now known to everyone inside the country, even small children can able to understand, school children can able to understand, but citizen charter even came 7-8 years before right to information, but there is no proper awareness. So, what are the difficulties and problem we can able to see when you are going to look into this ideas of citizen charter? The first and foremost important thing, the general purpose of organization which formulated the citizen charter, the way how they want to exercise is the most important thing. On the basis of that, generally people are having a mindset that direction coming from the top. So, the top down approach is an idea existing inside the implementation of citizen charter. It is not, no one consulted me as a part of department. So, someone from the topmost in the educational system or the administrative system asked me to follow this ideology. So, this is the way people are having the direction from the top, and there is no consensus among the people regarding the citizen charter. So, people are very reluctant to implement this is the major obstacle and main obstacle we can able to say the way how UPSC asks us. Then second important thing, the most important thing, the personal responsibility is also kind of ideology. While handling this personal responsibility, the training part, the way how the orientation program and training part related to the citizen charter, the people are giving, that is a very necessary ideology. Anything in its implementation, the people inside the department need to have a proper training mechanism, but that part no one knows what is charter, and there is no explanation for charter among the departmental personalities. So, automatically there is no much knowledge about this ideology and no particular sensitivity towards the personal sensitivity towards the implementation of citizen charter. So, based on that, this is the second important hindrance and hurdle we can able to see. And after this, another most important thing is that the person inside the department, once he realized and understood the ideas of citizen charter, but there is always a possibility of frequent transfer and reshuffle or keep on happening inside the administration. So, once I realize this department, I am ready to handle this administrative part as a citizen charter, but immediately I have transferred to the next department. So, definitely I am not able to handle those things in a proper manner. So, this is another most important thing, the way how the continuous disturbances in the name of transfer of officials from one place to another place is the next important thing. And as usual, everybody, the way how they are discussing about this idea, the campaign, awareness campaign regarding, there is always a possibility in governance, the way how the government is connecting its citizenship in terms of customer relationship or in terms of client relationship. But in terms of citizen charter, the government is considered the citizen as a client. On the basis of that, there is a proper communication between both ends need to be done. Various business models also we are practicing inside India regarding good governance and e-governance initiative, but in practicality, people at the bottom level or people who want to utilize those services doesn't have proper awareness regarding the permission project and all. It is not only from the officers side, people side also, like the way how RTA became the powerful and popular tool in India, citizen charter doesn't have that kind of significance. So, this is another most important thing, and apart from this there are some kind of things we have to look into this. The way how too negligent or too tight were impractical and created an this is the most important thing. How the way we are giving important and how we very much sensitive towards the implementation of schemes and programs. So, when I am going to look into the citizen charter, in one way negligence is the most important criteria is happening inside. And on another side, there is a situation and environment which is really is troubling me, that impractical and unfavorable condition for implementing those kind of ideologies also existing. These are all the another important thing for the reason for the failure or the struggle we are facing. And apart from this, there is an idea, the citizen charter, and its concept and clarity wise, there is no particular and there is no popular mechanism to popularize this ideology within the departmental activities or outside the departmental activities, either in terms of media coverage or social media coverage or departmental circular and functions and all. There is no proper mechanism of transferring those ideas from one people to another people is totally missing inside our country regarding citizen charter. So, this is another major hurdle we can able to see. Okay. Then other than that, the normal things we can able to say, what are the deficiency when I want to implement the existence of citizen charter in our country is facing simple ideology, lack of awareness and knowledge, lack of publicity. Second important thing is that no training. Whatever I discussed so far, I am summarizing into this manner. And third important thing, infrastructure facility and initiatives also a failure. And fourth important thing is that the hierarchy, the way how it is disturbing in private sector hierarchy we can able to bypass, but in government sector there is no way you can able to bypass. That is another problem. And different mindset of officers. There is an idea in administration, the staff line. The staff are the one who is creating policies, the line officers are the one who is implementing those policies. So, the staff and line there is no coordination, there is no proper communication, it is always a top down approach only, not bottom up approach. So, that is another reason for the failure, and staff is not prepared. That is another important thing is that if I know the proper training mechanism regarding that one, I will take the responsibility and I will do the project in a well manner. But if I do not have much knowledge about, then definitely the responsibility mechanism will also missing. So, this is another most important thing. Then non-revision and complicated and restrictive rules procedures, that is a most important thing. There is no updation, there is no continuity, there is no easy way of discussing process. So, things are going to be a complicated one on one side, and is all outdated ideologies, and the rules and regulations are really putting pressure upon me. In this 3 perspective, I can able to say that it is not up to me in order to implement this particular project inside. Okay, these are the 2 ideas we can able to say what way the implementation of citizen charters are really struggling. Then how to overcome this is the suggestion. So, there are some kind of various ideology we can able to. The most important thing when you are looking into the concept of citizen charter, the realistic in nature, that part is missing. So, when I can able to bring the ideas of the realistic in nature inside the process of citizen charter, then it is very easy for the people to bring as well as implement inside. And accountability mechanism also need to be properly fixed, since it is a government matter related to governance. So, definitely we have to bring the accountability mechanism. That is the most important thing. And second most important thing, even when we want to discuss about the measure to implement the citizen charter successful, the second ARC also clearly mentioned about certain points. The second Administrative Reform Commission 2005 Veerappa Moily Commission also very clearly mentioned about a separate chapter for implementation of citizen charter. So, it is very clearly mentioning that the one size fit for all is totally unacceptable mean in Indian citizen charters. It should be always on the basis of area specific policy and regional specific policy and region specific policy, rather than one size fit for all. A armchair policy is no longer valid. So, this is another important idea the second ARC itself is giving in order to overcome the struggle and hurdles inside the citizen charter. And other than that, we can able to see the review process. Whatever the things are going to happen, there should be a review mechanism and properly examine for every now and then. Based on that, the implementation process will be done. And other than that, when we are going to look into the purpose of the citizen charter, so this is the most important thing. The staff are the one who is need to be consulted properly regarding what is going inside their department. So, without consulting the people those are going to implement, then definitely they will distance from themselves. This is an alienation process will come into exist. So, to overcome those things, the involvement of staff and line in order to make the civil citizen charter successful one. And other than that, there are some kind of existence. Generally, people will say it is only existing in paperwork. There is no practical approach regarding this one. So, what else we have to do? The implementation and involvement of officials as well as every layer of the society inside the administration need to be properly. Based on that, we can able to implement the citizen charter in a successful manner. Then even ARC is also referring this ideology, auditing mechanism. So, accountability if I want to fix, then definitely it need to be done with the help of auditing mechanism. So, frequent auditing is going to happen regarding the citizen charter also, the way how the government official accomplish their task, that should be also done in a proper manner. So, based on that, you can able to come for a successful ideology. Then there should be any scheme, if it want to be a successful one, the input and output should be on the basis of feedback mechanism. So, there should be a feedback mechanism. Once that feedback received, there should be an alternative method of the grievances redressal cell or grievances redressal mechanism should be there in that. So, when feedback come in a negative manner, so there should be a grievance redressal. When a feedback come in the positive manner, there should be an appreciation inside that one. In this way only you can able to implement charter as a successful one. Since this is very popularly going inside Malaysia, Singapore, even UK, Canada and all. So, India can also able to utilize better than those kind of countries. So, this is the way you have to complete this point. Okay. Then the third question in governance, sorry, just a second. One second. So, when I am going to look into this idea of governance, another question is that the e-governance is not just about the routine application of digital technology in service delivery process. It is as much about ensuring transparency and accountability. In this context, evaluate the role of the interactive service model of e-governance. So, just now only when I discuss about the good governance, I specifically made that point that good governance is equivalent to transparency plus accountability plus social responsiveness. And when I am going to bring this transparency mechanism, the concept like e-governance is going to come. E-governance mechanism is going to come, or the ideas regarding RTA is going to come, or the concept regarding citizen charter is going to come. These are all coming under the category of the e-governance, transparency mechanism only. But in e-governance, generally in classes we usually discuss the G2G, G2C or GTE, those kind of government to citizens, consumer or client, or government to employees or employee to employee. So, business, government to business, something like that we can able to. But there are some internationally recognized models also existing in order to strengthen the idea of good governance mechanism. So, from there UPSC asked a direct question this year that the interactive service model, this is a very necessary thing. Here the understanding is that what is the purpose of e-governance? To bring the good governance. What is the purpose of good governance? A open government, an accountable government, a responsive government from both people's side and the government side. So, these are the core, and through this what government really want? The government want to provide service to the people, service delivery mechanism to the people, and people want to get their services at the doorstep of their houses. So, these are all the connections. So, when we are allowing the people to participate in governance, that is a very necessary point. So, when I am going to see the interactive service model is a most important idea, on the basis of that the individuals are participating in governance process. So, participation is the most, delivering services at your doorstep, and second important thing, democratic process means participation. This model, service model, when we are going to deliver services, people's involvement, citizens involvement is also very necessary point. So, based on that the participation in governance process, enhancing its objectivity and transparency in decision making through the use of ICT. This is an idea only, the existence of good governance. So, this is the definition for the concept of the interactive service model. By the way, government and citizens, G to C is going to participate in a different manner, because there are some other ideas also it is involved. Then the second most important thing, the way how it is going to focus more on time and cost saving in terms of decision making. It is not only implementing, it is not only participating. Every schemes and programs should be done within the particular timing and saving the money and time. This is another most important thing to avoid wastages, because wastages in government is the most problematic thing that can be done with the help of accountability process. But problem inside India, accountability happen in our country in terms of post-mortem only. CAG or any person who is going to check through auditing methodology is just going to do the post-mortem only, nothing in a preventive manner, nothing in a mitigative manner. So, what is the necessary? Saving time as well as space and money is another most important thing, will enhance the concept of accountability process. So, that thing also they are. And another most third important thing is that the government services are made directly accessible to the citizens. The moment the interactive session through participation is going to happen, so we are opening government sector to people, people can able to access. That is an idea of interactive service model. And when you are going to do this ideology, there is a process. It is not G to G, government to government. It is not government to citizen. A new ideology, the government to consumer, from consumer to government, G to C to G is a kind of ideology. So, came into exist. First time UPSC asked this question. Generally, they will go for G to G or other things. But government to consumer, from consumer to government, an interactive participatory methodology in order to achieve the service delivery mechanism. So, that is an idea of interactive service methods. Okay. Then moving further, best example in the recent past, G to C to G, we can able to see how the process of digital locker we are utilizing. On the basis of that, people can able to participate, people can able to interact. The digital locker is a kind of ideology through you can able to access information, you can participate in that. So, in this manner interactive service also available and participation mechanism is also available. In this manner, this is the most successful example we can able to say, we can able to give for this G2C to G model inside our governance mechanism. Okay. Then moving further, there is an universally accepted ideology regarding this interactive service model, people will say. On the basis of that, whatever the concern it may be, whoever the people are going to involve in this models of governance, the most and core important thing is that citizens should be at the center and other people should be in the peripheral area, then things will be in a successive. That is the way the participation is also promoting and interactive services also promoting people's participation, delivering services. If you want to achieve those things, citizens should be always at the center. So, the concept regarding this interactive service model, keeping the international governance or local government or national government or anything at other side and peripheral area and keeping citizens at the center. This is the most important thing inside. So, as an explanation to this figure, we can able to see that this is the way the relationship between variables of interactive service model, the variables of local government, national government and international government. And the main thing through this one, all relationship in governance activities it is going to enforce and emphasize. And another important thing is that with the help of this model mainly demanding the two-way flow of information between the two variables. So, information should be always in the two-way format rather than top down or bottom up. It should be always in the two-way process is another most important. And other than that, the way how this information flow, the flow of information between the government, authorities and the citizens. That is why it is called as G to C to G, government to customer and customer to government. This is the way the process is going to happen. Okay. Then the question is demanding something regarding, right now I know this interactive service model. In what way it is going to help in e-governance mechanism in order to provide service delivery? Because that is an ultimate total quality management. TQM is an idea we are using inside e-governance project to deliver services at your doorstep. So, when I am going to look into this idea, the first and foremost important thing through this model, interactive service model, that communication channels we have to create, and that is a very necessary thing for the achievement of any kind of policies or programs. And second important thing, electronic ballots for the selection of government officers and other office holders. So, this is a kind of initiatives, people's opinion also collected from, that is another idea. And third important thing, organizing public debate and public opinion polls related to the broader concern of policy formulation or as legislative framework of any rules and regulations. So, through the debate and discussion of public, you can able to. So, for that you can able to use this interactive service model. And another important thing is that enabling citizens to file feedback and reports directly with the relevant government bodies. So, feedback mechanism is very serious and people can able to go and give the feedback directly, can able to achieve through interactive service model. And finally, the governance function in online mode including the revenue collection, tax, every aspect, wherever the possibilities of corruption and red tapeism and delayed mechanisms are going to possible. In those areas, to overcome all those things, this online provisions with the people's participation through the grievances redressal cell will help to achieve the things in a proper manner. So, that is an objective and idea of government, allowing people to participate, providing service delivery to at the doorstep. Okay. So, this is the way the governance generally we usually discuss inside the class, but some point you have to add as per the newspaper reading or current affairs. Through that you can able to take it and put it here. So, answer will be the complete one. Otherwise, all the topics are there in our syllabus. The way how UPSC asked is slightly different, and the first question is totally different because they took it from public administration optional and they put it here. So, it became a little complicated, and that is also the doctrine also they asked about the democratic governance. Normally they won't, that usually happen in either sociology optional or public administration optional, but in terms of giving importance to the ideas of good governance, the UPSC has asked this particular question. That it is not a simple question, it is a very, very specific technical question. Next one, after completing governance, social justice area. Here the concept is, the question is that public charitable trusts have the potential to make India's development more inclusive as they related to certain vital public issue. Comment. So, they are asking a simple question. This is little direct and easy question. Public charitable organization, public charitable trust. These are all the things that are happening in our India. The keyword is public charitable trust. In what way they are going to help India's development more inclusive as they related directly to the public issues. When I am seeing the public charitable trust, this is a kind of idea according to Income Tax Act, we have to create a certain organization as a category of private trust or public trust or some kind of social cause related trust. And when we are registering certain things in the name of public charitable trust under section 2K of the Income Tax Act, definitely then immediately those public charity act can also able to act or called as a non-governmental organization. So, here the case is that the public charitable trust is existing. What this public charitable trusts are going to do inside our country, the most important thing you can able to see that it can for the number of purpose, it can able to mainly for the removal of poverty relief, education, medical relief or the facilities for the recreation or any other objective of the general public utility, you can able to create a public charitable trust. It is otherwise called as a non-governmental organization also, NGO. You can able to call as per the Income Tax Act any public charitable trust as a non-governmental organization. And NGOs you are going to study separately in classes, self-help group and NGO. Those point also, if you don't know exactly about public trust, you can use the NGO point and you can able to put it here. Second important thing is that when I am going to discuss about the public trust in India, the way how it is existing, there is no law uniformly available for the creation of public charitable trust in our country. State wise, some states are having, for example, take it as Maharashtra as an example. The Maharashtra Public Charitable Trust Act of 1950 is the best example, is universally available in our country, and so many states are also practicing those ideology to register the public charitable trust. But there is no law at the central level, only state level here and there we can able to use it. And very particularly, just only I told, section 2 subsection 15 of the Income Tax Act is clearly saying that the charitable purpose what we are discussing inside the public trust in the name of helping poor related to educational and medical and all other perspective will come under the category of the charitable purpose can able to define into the nature of public charitable trust. One idea. On the basis of this section 25 of the Income Tax Act, you can also able to call a public charitable trust as a non-profit, non-governmental organization, NGO. In this criteria and category, a public charitable trust also called as NGO. So, what you studied regarding NGO will applicable here. And another most important thing, the way how the trust can able to keep it some kind of things, there are so many various purpose, the charitable work, charity can able to do it. But when we are going to do, the question as demanding that very particularly the way how it is going to help people in our country in order to eliminate some strengthening the public utility system. So, when I am going in this perspective, the foremost important thing, whether it is an NGO or it is a public charity trust, in what way it is going to help, I can able to say the existence of an NGO, where the government cannot able to extend their arms. From there, the working nature of non-governmental, voluntary or other pressure group or the public trust, all the things will come into exist. When government is having a limitation to extend its arm,
From there, the beginning of charity will come into exist. This is an idea. So, government is having limitation in education sector, health sector, environmental sector, every aspect of the administration. So, in this case, I can able to see first the healthcare initiatives. Regarding this healthcare initiative, how the charitable trusts are going to formally they are going to conduct the organizing camp or something regarding fundraising related to research work related to various diseases and all, or healthcare limitation. When the government or primary health center cannot able to do certain activities on the basis of the remotest or the departmental constraints, then definitely the education, the non-governmental organization or the charity can able to go and extend their arm. In this manner, it can able to help government to achieve the good governance practices or bringing the justice inside, social justice inside the society. Second important thing, the educational system, the way how we are going to conduct this kind of educational trust based ideology, what they will do, they will conduct a scholarship test, they will sponsor the people in various way. On the basis of that, people those who are having some difficulty in terms of financial aid, who cannot able to approach the government due to lot of lack of documents and other various hindrances and all, can easily approach those kind of charity work. On the basis of that, this is a very necessary thing. Through the scholarship program, the charities are going to do, the education will be spread, and illiteracy is a kind of idea will slowly get rid of our country. This is another most important thing, societal wise it is helping people. And third important thing, for environmental conservation. In order to conserve the environment, the way how it is going to help. For example, the good practices we have to do inculcate among the people. Through the awareness program, they can able to promote. The sustainable practices to preserve the current material for the future generation, it can able to create an awareness. Environmental degradation, to overcome those kind of things, the trust can able to do. These are all the general idea. Apart from this, the women and child welfare is a most problematic problem, because women and child are coming under the weaker section of the society, and they are having a problem from the ancient time onwards. And even the constitutional article number 23 and 24, fundamental right, is also clearly mentioning about the trafficking of women and women related, child related issues inside our country, right against the exploitation, under 23 and 24. So, this is the way the charity work in order to help the people at the bottom of the society and overcome them against the exploitation, and help our fundamental right principles like article 23 and 24 in various manner. On the basis of that, it become a most important act the charitable trust can able to give to government of India when there is a limitation for the government. And apart from this, this is another normal basic thing, relief work when there is a natural calamity or man-made calamity. Definitely government can able to extend their arm with the limitation. When the limitation comes, without limitation, a NGO or charity can able to do better than government. That is an idea. And another most important thing, generally people won't consider, preservation of the culture is also another important thing the NGO or the charitable work can able to do. For example, nowadays after the British administration, the handicraft or artisan slowly disappeared from the society. But previously the patronization of those kind of artisan happened under the dynasty and all. When modern government came, so there is no people to patronize those kind of specialized skilled labor, but those disappear and they become unorganized sector employees and all. Now through this trust, public charitable trust, we can able to enforce, extend our arms towards those kind of people and completely preserve our traditional culture in this manner also the possible idea. So, this is the another best example and easy way to explain about this question. Okay. And second social justice question, question number 7. Poverty and malnutrition create a vicious cycle, adversely affecting human capital formation. What steps can be taken to break this cycle? This is the thing. Here the question is that you might be learn from your nutrition or issue regarding poverty hunger classes. The poverty cycle everyone knows, generally in classes we teach. Apart from poverty cycle, in the recent past, there are some kind of idea came into exist after the existence of Sustainable Developmental Goal 2015. SDG is a document, or SDG is a target first time in the human history. They decided to separate the connection between poverty and hunger. Previously, all the goals and programs and schemes always interconnected poverty and hunger together. But now SDG is saying that there is no connection between poverty and hunger. There is a connection, but there is no scientific relation between poverty and hunger. So, hunger need to be handled separately, poverty need to handle separately if you want to eliminate these things successfully. So, in this particular line right now, there are lot of social scientists also discussing about the vicious cycle of malnutrition and poverty. So, when I am going to look into this idea, the poverty cycle generally we will see and discuss inside the classes. But malnutrition and poverty is a kind of idea when you are going to discuss. The most important thing is that what steps we can able to take in order to break that cycle. But before going to break that cycle, first you have to understand about that particular cycle, then only you can able to handle this question properly. The first and foremost important thing, even though the social developments are happening in various ways, but it is acceptable means there is an inequality and injustice are happening inside the society. On the basis of that, you can able to see the relationship exists between nutritional status and human capital and economic standard. There is always a possibility of connection between these three things: nutritional level, human capital and economic standing. You can't able to separate this. And second important thing, when I am going to discuss about the malnutrition, malnutrition is a concept, is also having some implication upon the human society in terms of psychological behavior as well as mental capacity. On the basis of that only you are going to see how the way which is going to, when the mental health and the psychological well-being of people get affected, then automatically that is also going to hindrance the country's growth and development in various manner. And third important thing is that there is always a two-way link. It is not one-way link. Two-way link is existing between poverty and malnutrition, and that is the most important thing. So, once the two-way link is properly recognized and realized, it is easy for the people to eliminate that particular ideology of poverty and malnutrition related cycles. So, here, so now what I want to know, first I want to understand what is this vicious cycle. For example, when I am seeing the malnutrition, malnutrition only produces the conditions of poverty by the way of reducing the potentiality, economic potentiality of the human population. When economic potentiality of the human poverty is hindered on the basis of malnutrition within me, this is a basic ideology, and on the basis of that, the same way poverty reinforces malnutrition by increasing the risk of food insecurity. So, both are interconnected. One, malnutrition is interconnected with the poverty, and that poverty only reducing the economic popularity or growth of the society. Second thing is that the poverty only bringing the concept of malnutrition by the way how it is going to create a food insecurity inside a society, then automatically hunger. This is a connection. This is a connection between poverty as well as malnutrition. So, now this cycle of poverty and malnutrition, you know very well, and this is the most intergenerational. This is an idea. So, through the examples and other various concepts we are going to learn about poverty and hunger, the conclusion should be it is intergenerational, that it is going to affect one generation after generation. The best example we can able to say that a malnourished woman, high risk of having malnourished child. The intergenerational perspective. If mother is having the malnutritional issue, the child is also going to, so next generation also going to affect. So, the what is the necessary thing is that the way how we are going to create an effective methodology to break this cycle, then only the future generation is also going to be strengthened. Otherwise, next generation, children are the future pillars of India and every country. Okay. And now the consideration is that first you have to identify the interlinkage between the malnutrition and hunger and poverty. So, when I am going to discuss about this matter in a very sensitive way, the most important thing is that the women empowerment is not existing in our country or throughout the world, we can able to say. So, because of the lack of women empowerment, there is an existence of poverty that is also interconnected with an idea of malnutrition and economic depreciation, one idea. And second most important thing, from here I can able to say how we have to break the cycle of malnutrition and poverty, identifying the problem. Once you identify the problem, remove it and the cycle will automatically disconnected. Second most important thing is that the biofortification and agricultural biodiversity. This is another most important thing. So, based on that, the biofortification and agricultural productivity related ideology, I can able to strengthen those productivity related things in agriculture. Based on that, the poverty need to be identified and slowly get rid of those kind of things. Okay. And apart from this, other than that women empowerment and all, there is always a possibility that gender inequalities is the reason. On the basis of that only, the poverty and malnutrition is also going to happen. And these are all the basic things you can able to. So, through this biofortification and agriculture related biodiversity, or with the identification of women empowerment inside the country, or existence of gender equality, these are the core area. Once we identified, based on that, it is easy for us to overcome those kind of easy for us to break the cycle of vicious cycle of the poverty as well as malnutrition. The next question, this is politicum, social justice, we can able to say. The first part is directly polity. Right to privacy is intrinsic to life and personal liberty and is inherently protected under Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. Explain. Second thing is that in this reference discuss the law relating to DNA testing of a child in the womb to establish its fertility. Article 21 is clearly saying that the life and liberty, how the way the life and liberty of individuals. But in practicality, there is no concrete step inside the fundamental rights. We can able to see after learning the fundamental right from Article 12 to 35. Not all the fundamental rights are not directly enforceable. For the successful implementation of fundamental right, it is a duty of the parliament to make laws to give some kind of meaning to certain fundamental right. Child right, we created a parliament related bodies are there, acts are there. Women exploitation, parliamentary laws are there. Minority right, parliamentary laws are there. So, Article 21 is saying that it is a right to life, but there is no specific way it mentioned that the right to privacy is also coming under Article 21. So, what happened in order to define that idea of right to 21, right to privacy, from the time of independence, so many cases in so many ways came into exist. Finally, in 2015, that is the most important thing, that the constitution failed to provide a proper guarantee to the principles of right to privacy. At last, the Supreme Court of India in 2015, the way how they gave something into the nature, the intrinsic nature of right to privacy in this Justice K.S. Puttaswamy versus Union of India case. There the Supreme Court came with an ideology, right to privacy will come under 21 as an intrinsic right of individuals. In this case only, they specifically elaborated the ideology, Justice Puttaswamy versus Union of India case. They also mention about the child, the way how the paternity we are going to identify with the help of the DNA of the child. In two ways we can able to say, one is right to privacy is also existing, another one is the nature of the child and its psychological effect is also there inside the society. So, in two ways you have to consider this case. So, in this perspective, this particular case in 2015, the Supreme Court very specifically gave that right to privacy is not an absolute right, but it is subjected to the reasonable restrictions. Only the government can able to put reasonable restrictions as per the conditions. But later in 2017, The Chief Justice of India, then Justice Kagar, was very specifically made some kind of arrangement regarding this right to privacy related issues. In this article number 21, the 9 judges bench came and occupied in a full capacity. On the basis of that, they made a very clear understanding that the privacy is intrinsic to life and personal liberty of individual and is inherently protected under article 21 of the Indian Constitution as per the part of the freedom rights under article the third part of the Indian Constitution, fundamental right related things. So, in 2017 only the Supreme Court gave the final confirmation or the final verdict regarding article 21, within that the right to privacy. So, based on this, when we are moving further, for example, when it is coming under the intrinsic part of article 21, that means it is not only available to the citizen of the country, anyone in the country who can able to use article 332 and 226 on the basis of constitutional remedies can able to approach the Supreme Court of India in order to enforce the right to privacy upon themselves. It is not only for Indians, even aliens also can able to exist. On the basis of this particular idea, when I am moving further, the Supreme Court made privacy an essential ingredients of other important fundamental freedom, including the right to equality, speech, expression, religion, everything what we are going to consider under fundamental right. The same way under 21 article, right to privacy is also going to get the same kind of significance like right to life, right to religious freedom, right against exploitation, the same significance it will get. This is the first part of that question, how the way I am going to define this article 21. But the second part of the question is saying that is there any law existing in our country in order to discuss about this matter regarding the DNA of checking the DNA of child to confirm the paternity, father. Someone may have a doubt regarding their own children, or some issue may happen regarding parenting and all. So, when we are going to define the DNA of the child, definitely the concept like right to privacy is also coming, because it is something related to the dignity of the child. So, her children's consent is also sometimes it is necessary, it is violating their own things. So, in this matter, the question UPSC asked is the law available in our country to discuss about the DNA related to the confirming the paternity test. But when I am seeing that people are keep on writing the prenatal related things are there since 1994, but that is only regarding checking the gender. There is no way connection in terms of connecting the DNA in terms of paternity. If you are writing the same answer like the way everybody is discussing, then your answer will be totally wrong. But in India, the most important thing is that the DNA testing of parent is legal in our country, but there is no law exists as per the Supreme Court direction in various cases, and what way Supreme Court is able to give directions, in what cases court can able to give direction, everything gave us a guideline by the Supreme Court of India. So, first condition is that in India, checking the DNA of the child is a legal right, or checking the parent of a child is a legal right, first thing. So, how they can able to check? It is not on the basis of prematernal act in 1994, but on the basis of the Indian Evidence Act in 1872, in that very particularly section 112 of the Indian Evidence Act 1872, the child born within the valid marriage having every legitimacy to check their parents, whether they are parent or not. It is the duty of the child, up to the child only, or the willingness of the two party. So, when the court can able to ask for the DNA test, the court order the DNA test unless both parties willingly consent. This is the condition under that Evidence Act. Then, when I am going to look into the Puttaswamy case in 2015. So, the Supreme Court gave some kind of confirmation that right to privacy as a fundamental right, and this fundamental right also subject to the reasonable restrictions of the Court of India, no doubt in that one. And another most important thing, in that case only, the need for the careful consideration of the DNA testing cases. In this case, it is not only right to privacy, there only it is talk about the DNA testing of parental ideology also came into. So, balancing the pursuit of justice within the protection of the individual privacy, clear protocols need to be done, and regulations for collecting, storing and utilizing the DNA data is also very necessary. There should not be any misuse of data or leakages of data, and all the things are there, and based on that this act is going to provide, this verdict is going to be a powerful tool, serves as an intended purpose without impinging the fundamental right of every individual. In this case only article 21 has very specifically one side discussing about right to privacy, another side it is also giving the legal opinion regarding the DNA testing of parent is a kind of idea. Based on that, now it is eligible, we can able to test it, both parties are willing to go for. Then next question is question number 17. In a crucial domain like the public healthcare system, the Indian state should play a vital role to contain the adverse impact of marketization of the system. Some measure you have to suggest to the state which can enhance and reach the public healthcare at the grassroots level. So, the condition is that when I am going to look into the concept of the public healthcare system, it is completely on the basis of marketization, the way how the private players are existing in various ways. One point, marketization. And another important thing is that the way how the health sector is existing at the national level in urban cosmopolitan city, but in grassroots level, the remotest area, there is always a scope for improvement from the beginning to the 21st century or till today existing. So, the most important thing people are discussing about how to enhance this system in a village level and all, in a grassroots level and all. So, for that the most important thing you need to give consideration, first and foremost thing, how I am going to. The patient centric approach is the key when I want to implement this particular idea. When I want to give solution for this particular type of questions, the patient centric approach. So, with the help of this patient centric approach, the way how the policies are going to happen. Example, through the patient centric approach, first you have to go into the nature of the rising awareness among the people. On the basis of that, you can able to prevent some kind of diseases spreading in different part of the country. The example we know very well, just only I mentioned, the patient first approach, the patient centric approach is the most important thing. Based on that, you can able to strengthen by the way how you are popularizing the various method and creating an awareness. On the basis of that, you can also perpetuate the availability of the health competition among the people and the market. One idea. Second thing is that after rising awareness on the basis of the patient first approach, building trust is the second most important thing. So, the trust is the very necessary point, because in Indian system lack of trust is keep on existing among the people. People lost faith upon the medical system in various way. They are saying that they are thinking that there is always the organ related theft, or the hospitals are not safe place, and there is a lack of trust between people and the hospital managements are there. There is no availability of transparency and all regarding each and everything. Even the way how the doctors are writing prescriptions, only the doctor and the chemist know, we can't able to understand. Even though the Supreme Court gave a verdict that the prescription should be in capital letter, still doctors are writing like Indus Valley civilizational pictographical writings, something like that. So, here the case is that when I am looking into the ideas of the concept regarding building trust, the way how the government and the way how grassroots level you can able to popularize that ideology, on the basis of that only you can able to gain the confidence of the people on one side. And third important thing is that ensuring quality. Quality is the most important thing in each and every perspective. So, when it is going for the patient centric approach, patient first approach, the most important thing is that way every person is having its own requirements, because there is no tailor made ideology, everybody is having their own requirements. So, on the basis of this particular idea, when I am going to look into this, there are so many methods. On the basis of that collaborative ideas, you can able to bring this concept. Okay. Then other than that, the role of technology, the way how the technology is going to happen, on the basis of that also we can able to create a proper effective delivery of healthcare mechanism. Based on that, we can able to bring those kind of knowledges to the people. Then navigating towards a sustainable healthcare system is the most important thing when it is regarding the communication process, or when it is regarding the decision making process. The way how the sustainable healthcare reform we are going to create inside is another most important thing. Okay. Apart from this, the next final area is that the international relations. Question number 9, 10, 11, 12. So, when you are going to discuss about the international relations area, for example, the first question, the West is fostering India as an alternative to reduce dependence on China's supply chain as a strategic ally to counter China's political and economic domains. Explain the statement with an example. This is a very specific as well as the technical question. The answer will show that how it is very technical. This year all the IR questions are specialized question, not very general story writings and all over. At least previous year itself it showed 1 or 2, but this year majority of the question came in a very specific and technical manner. Example, how these things came into exist. You just realize how the way the process came into exist. During the time of Donald Trump administration, they created a new concept like Blue Dot Network. On the basis of the Blue Dot Network, America want to connect, the West want to connect Australia, Japan and USA first, and later New Delhi, Seoul, South Korea, New Delhi, India and some more countries also in future. And the main purpose is that they want to create some kind of infrastructure project to counter the process of China's Belt Road Initiative, first initiative. Then in 2021, Joe Biden came into exist and he didn't want to go into the old idea. So, he merged in his own way that build back better world. B3W is an idea came into exist, the Blue Dot Network which automatically become part of this idea. Instead of creating a separate one, they annexed with these things. Okay. But the most important thing, through this project what they really want to, how they want to counter China. Certified project is the most important thing. Through this certified project, every country is going to do in other country can able to bring the transparency and openness, and the basis of that it will reduce the financing risk and regional capitals are utilized in a proper manner as an alternative to China BRI. Because China's projects are mostly in a secret manner, they never reveal the data to anyone, including the invested countries and investing countries. So, in order to counter this one, America came with an openness ideology inside the implementation methodology, one side. But other than that, the most important thing, this is the way the question was asked by UPSC, the China +1 is a new initiative came into exist. And the main objective of the China +1 is that to expanding and diversify the global supply chain, GSC here I will call global supply chain, by developing additional manufacturing sites outside China. So far majority of the work went to China, more than 2001 onwards they went to China. Now they want to go for the safest place as an alternative to China by the way of creating a global supply chain management. For that only the Supply Chain Resilience Initiative SCRI came into exist. The Supply Chain Resilience Initiatives came into exist. And who are those people involved in this one? The India, Japan, Australia, the trilateral cooperation came into exist. On the basis of that, they want to de-risk the supply chain and create a sustainable global supply chain network. And this is the most important thing. On the basis of that, slowly and steadily you want to overcome China, avoid China in order to give more importance to the India specific or Australia specific or Japan specific countries and ideas. This is the most important thing. Okay. So, in this perspective only, generally in higher classes no one will go in a detailed manner, but generally people will discuss. So, now the case is that when China +1 is the most problematic thing on the basis of this supply chain resilience network, supply chain resilience network SCRA they will call, Now a new kind of ideology came, the SCRI versus Border Road Organization. The SCRI versus the concept like Indo-Pacific. So this is the way the idea came into exist in the modern world, that supply chain resilience initiative. How the way it is going to counter China's Belt and Road initiative with the help of transparency and open policy on one side, in order to remove the supply chain resilience network completely from China by the way of finding an alternative with the initiative of India, Japan and Australia, based on that only. Now in order to achieve these ideologies, the way how America, the way how Germany and Western European dominant countries including USA is doing so many favoritism or nepotism, we can able to say, in favor of countries like Japan or India or Australia, even countries like Vietnam and Thailand, to create an alternative for China to strengthen their supply chain management. So in this way only UPSC has asked this question, and you have to elaborate the China plus and Indo-Pacific policy, because now every country in this world are keep on creating Indo-Pacific policy. It's completely on the basis of the supply chain management. When I am seeing the world map, Western Indian Ocean particularly from the Suez Canal, where almost world 40% of the oil demand and supply is moving through this area, there the China has developed the Djibouti island base, military bases, a cause of concern for the world on one side. And apart from this, the way how the Maldivian government, that we will discuss in next question, Maldives anyhow. So the way how the Western Indian Ocean, now under the dominions of once upon a time India, now slowly moving into the hands of China is another cause of concern. So America created America's Indo-Pacific policy, Russia has created Russia Indo-Pacific policy, German has created a German Indo-Pacific policy, and Modi government also created India's Indo-Pacific policy. Now China is also having China's Indo-Pacific policy to control this trade and the oil route. The most important thing, starting from Suez Canal to till Malacca Strait of the Indonesian region, India-Indonesian region, that area, entire route need to be secured properly. So far India act like the net security provider of Indian Ocean, now challenged and questioned by the China's authority and all. So now world is giving its favoritism towards India to strengthen her presence with the help of all this kind of SCRI versus BRI or other various project to counter China. This is the way completely on the basis of the China plus one and an ideology, and also Blue Dot network created by Donald Trump is the best example. You need to mention the specific answers. Second, critically analyzing India's evolving diplomatic, economic, strategic relation with Central Asian countries, highlighting their increasing significance in the regional and global geopolitics. So when I am going to look into this idea of Central Asia, we know very well, we generally discuss inside the class that India in 2004 around created, 92 India created Look East policy, 2004 later India created Look West policy, and 2012 after that India created Connect Central Asia policy, and after Modi government 2015-16 blue economy based on that Connect Indian Ocean policy or marine policy also came into exist in a dominant manner. So this is the way look east, look west, look central and look Indian Ocean. Based on that, India is trying its level best to enforce its authority in various way. Look east dominated with the help of economy and culture, 2012 preliminary question, and look west dominated by oil and diaspora. Connect Central Asia is dominated by natural gas, technology transfer, and Indian Ocean is completely on the basis of marine resources and culture and strategic interest. This is the way only India has developed the various area specific policies. Look central, look Indian Ocean, look east, look west. Look east now turned into Act East after 2016. So in this background, when I am seeing the Central Asia, this is the most important thing in terms of geopolitics and geostrategy wise. India can able to say India is having only military base outside Indian continent, India subcontinent, that is in Farur Air Base. The best example in Tajikistan region. By the way, how India is doing various military exercise, you can able to see in the 2024 itself, the way how India connected with Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan and Azerbaijan, Afghanistan and various other countries in order to create the military exercise in various way. That is another most important thing. And how the way the economic importance of India is moving more towards Central Asian region is also keep on increasing, and we are also fixing a target to enhance. And apart from this, the most important thing, since 2017-18 as a full-fledged member of Shanghai Cooperation Organization SCO, India is also doing its level best to maintain herself in terms of economic and strategic, political and cultural, because SCO is the only organization there I can able to see a regional anti-terrorism structure RATS. Other than ASEAN Regional Forum, India second time in the history apart from United Nations join into this military cooperation in the name of RATS as a peaceful mission. Only ARF in 1996 onwards we are doing that one as a security wise Asian Regional Forum. After that RATS, Regional Anti-Terrorism Structure of SCO, since 2017, since 2009 we are doing that activities and all as a peaceful mission. And now we become the full-fledged member of SCO. So, this is the way the things are happening inside the country. Okay. So, these things you have to mention very carefully. On the basis of that, it is easy for you to connect the way how India is doing various operations inside. I just only told na, the way how military exercise, the Prabal Dostik is an example, Gazind is an example, and the way how even the Kanjor with the Kyrgyzstan, even the nomadic elephant with the Mongolia, these are all the best example we can able to say how India is diversifying its presence inside the Central Asian region in various manners. Okay. The next one, terrorism has become the significant threat to the global peace and security. Evaluate the effectiveness of United Nations Security Council's Counter-Terrorism Committee and associate body in addressing and mitigating this threat. So, there is no specific idea. It was in 2001 after September 11. America and the United Nations gave ultimate importance and key importance to the anti-terrorism related structures. On the basis of that, the resolution passed by United Nations Security Council in 2001, okay, based on that the UN Counter-Terrorism Committee also came into existence under UN Security Council. That is the beginning. And to support this mechanism, it is a committee. The committee needs some kind of directorate to enforce each and everything. So, executive directorate of CTC also came into United Nations. Say this is the way counter terrorism executive directorate also came into existence. Okay. And the main thing is that all the members of United Nations United Nations also join into this organization. For example, just a second. So, the most important thing is that the main way how they are going to do the activities, they just want to create an assessment dialogue in every member country. Once this assessment dialogue has created, on the basis of that they usually go and take care of all the activities. That is a necessary point you need to consider. The way how the assessment dialogue they are going to do is the most important thing. Based on that only they are going to calculate the risk management in all the member countries. Based on that they want to strengthen the counter terrorism mechanism in this world. For that only they are having some more ideology. For example, for every now and then the UN Security Council will pass some kind of resolution. Based on that the way how they will also get some kind of technical assistance. For example, the question already asked by the question the way how UPSC asked, apart from this counter terrorism committee, what are the other various organization this organization is involving into? There is no separate organization, but two UN organization they are associating in a very particular manner. We can able to see the way how the Global Internet Forum to counter terrorism is a kind of things they are associating with in order to strengthen, eliminate the terrorism related process. Other than that, the most important thing is that the United Nations Office of Counter Terrorism, this office also they are involving. On the basis of that only they are elaborating their existence in various way. And another most important thing, the Global Coordination Committee. So, this is the most important thing, this UNOCT, the Global Coordination Compact Committee on other side, and these are all the areas they are involving. Based on that, they are trying to create some kind of global strategy to overcome the terrorism related activities in various way. Since 2001, after the September 11 incident, it became a dominant thing nowadays in this world, and India is also associating from the very beginning of its formation. Okay, one sec. This is a direct question asked by UPSC, but it is a very technical and special question. The last question in IR, discuss the geopolitics and geostrategic importance of Maldives for India with a focus on global trade and energy flows. Discuss how this relationship affect India's maritime security and regional stability. When I am going to see this particular question, I can able to go back to 1905 around the way how Lord Curzon created the forward policy. So, with the help of this forward policy, Curzon realized the importance of Indian Ocean for British government and British as a country. Then in 1935, based on that, the Council of India Act or Government of India Act 1935 came into exist, and we know limited way in polity and history. But international relations point of view, this 35 Act separated Burma on the eastern side of India and Gulf Aden on the western side of India. This is the most important thing we can able to. The Aden was separated from British India through Government of India Act 1935 and Burma also through Government of India Act 1935. That is why India knows the blueprint well of Aden port, and India managed it very well. Even in 2016 Operation Rahat came into exist, India went and did successfully, rescued more than 42 countries people who trapped inside the area of Yemen and all, one side. And second important thing is that the way how the importance of Indian Ocean or Maldives is a particular in terms of geopolitics and geostrategy. Other than the historical things, nowadays in the contemporary world, the blue economy is the policy is also keep on blueing. The ocean based economy, the marine based economy is another important thing. To strengthen those ideas, the Maldives existence is very necessary. And third important thing, the way how the Prime Minister proposed the Sagar project, security and growth for all in the region is a kind of initiatives. It is not only for geopolitics and geostrategy, this is also going to strengthen the geo-economic construction. How the way the investment is going to happen in Indian Ocean is another important thing. The fourth important thing is that the maritime domain awareness. This is another initiative. The International Marine Organization who defined the concept of the maritime domain awareness in various way. On the basis of that, it is a kind of things you can able to see how we are going to use the maritime environment in a proper manner in terms of security, safety and ecology and environment and economic perspective. This is the most important thing, the maritime domain awareness defined by the International Maritime Organization on one side. And finally, the way how the existence of China inside Maldives and the way how the China want to elaborate the concept of Blue Belt Road initiative on one side, and apart from this, long back the China specific constitutional amendment also done by Maldives under her 256 of their constitution, that only the country who can able to invest $1 billion plus the repercussion technology. The way how you are recovering land from the ocean, 70% they have to recover from the ocean, 25% only Maldives will give to countries who want to invest inside Maldives. So, this is a direct things against India. Now, they modified this provision, but still there is always a threat now and then will happen. The Quit India movement created by some people few years ago after the COVID and all is another best example, and right now Indian presence are very least and Chinese involvements are going more, and strategically this place is very giving more important to India, because India is a net security provider of Indian Ocean, particularly the western part of Indian Ocean, starting from the Sri Lanka, Maldives, Mauritius, Madagascar, Seychelles. This is the way from the entire Suez Canal network is connected with the help of Indian dominance. It is also moving out of the hands of India. So, India need to be very careful by the way how avoiding lackluster diplomacy. Apart from this, the way how the very popular definition done by Mr. Waldo Dobler, the first law of geography is the most important thing. When you can able to use this first law of geography, simply everything is related to everything else, but near things are more related to the distant things. This is an idea of first law of geography. Everything is related to everything else, but the near things are more related to the distant things. This is an idea. So, based on that you can able to easily strengthen the relationship with the neighborhood, and still India is also having neighborhood first. So, if you can able to give this is the answer in this manner, then definitely no one can able to reduce your mark. So, exactly you have to give answers like this only. Okay. Thank you all. We will see you.